the 11th of Iyar, the 12th of May, the 26th day of the Omer. Today, special breakfast and class graciously sponsored by our dear friend Yada Kasava Cohen and family, Le'ilui Nishmat, his beloved father, Abraham Alberto Nisim Ben Frida Alav Shalom, that today, Thursday, is the day of his Askara. Additionally, today's class, graciously sponsored by Eli Limi and family, Le'ilui Nishmat, his beloved father, Yom Tov Halevi Ben Altun, as well as by Yael and Manuel Salem for the Refuah Shelema of her father, Ishaq Ben Flora, among the Halim of all of Am Israel. Amen. So please enjoy the magnificent breakfast, and I will start talking a bit about the daily message of the Sefirat Omer. As we know, this coming Sunday will be Pesach Sheni, the very auspicious date in the Hebrew calendar, and according to many, will be also the Hilulah of Rabbi Meir Baal HaNes. So we'll have a special program and class this coming Sunday morning in order to commemorate this very meaningful day in the week of the person. For those that are here, we welcome everybody from the north and the south. Remember that these classes are recorded and broadcasted live via iTorah.com. So I will start discussing the message of today. As we know, this week of the Omer, the host of the week is Moshe Rabbeinu Alav Shalom. El otro micrófono. Moshe Rabbeinu Alav Shalom. And the special guest of today is the one and only, his dear brother, Aharon HaKohen. Many times we see in the Torah, Moshe and Aharon, Aharon and Moshe. Thank you so much. Hello, 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 hello. Otro que sea como este. 1 second. We have some technical issue here with the mic. Just one moment. Just a second, please. William, should be there. Ese, está bien. Hello, hello, beautiful. I think it sounds better now, right? Hello? Beautiful. Anyways, so today we have the combination between Moshe and Aharon, Aharon and Moshe. Yesterday, when we discussed Moshe Rabbeinu all around, we explained how took Hashem 7 days until Moshe Rabbeinu agreed to accept Hashem's offer to be the Redeemer of the Jewish people. But today, I'd like to add one more concept. The presence of Aharon HaKohen. Our commentators tells us, the Hachamim, that one of the reasons why Moshe Rabbeinu originally wasn't too excited to accept this mission to redeem the Jewish people, it was because of Aharon. Aharon, his brother. Aharon and Moshe were brothers, same parents, short amount of years in between them. Aharon HaKohen was 3 years older. Moshe was 3 years younger. Moshe was raised in the palace of Paro as a golden child. Aharon was part of Am Israel, struggling with the Jewish people, even though you may say Aharon was from the tribe of Levi, and the Leviim were not really subject to slavery, but nevertheless, it's like the Ukraine. When the early days of the war that Ukraine, and still, thank you so much, and I believe that's still going on, although you hear less things about it. But remember the early days and the early first and second week, the overwhelming response of Am Israel throughout the world to give financial aid and prayers. What else can we do? Nobody was running to the Ukraine. Even the trips to the Ukraine suddenly came to a stop. And yet, what did we do? I cannot be there physically to help them cross the border. But there are two things that I can do for them. And I don't say me, myself, and I. Each and every one of us. Pray for them and give money for them. So at least you associate yourself. And Baruch Hashem, I don't know how much money was collected worldwide for the Jewish people in the Ukraine. I already know that we reached $60 or $70 million between the Agudat Israel and the Sephardic Heritage Museum campaign and Chabad. I don't know how much it was. So Baruch Hashem, the Jewish people collectively stepped up to the plate, each one according to the means, because you have to understand that certain things in that part of the world, their legalities doesn't function. And I'm not going to speak about South America. Okay? If you want to do in South America, in certain countries, everything legitimate, unfortunately, you will hit a wall. Sometimes you got to know somebody inside. You got to pay an expedited fee. You got to pay expedition to the expediter of the expedition. Come on. Come on. You want me to tell you stories? I don't have to. Okay? I'm talking to a very international crowd, and that's why everybody's smiling to what I'm saying. So now Moshe Rabbeinu says, my brother Aharon is seeing the pain and suffering of all of Am Israel. And is very limited in whatever Aharon HaKohen can do. How could it be that me, that I'm younger than him, raised in a good environment, at least physically and financial, suddenly I'm going to tell him what to do? This was part of the fear of Moshe Rabbeinu. So God says to Moshe, don't worry. Bera'acha besamach belibo. He will see you and he will be very happy in his heart. And then your question will be, why the Torah adds the heart? If he's happy, he's happy. So I think that we need to invite the book of Shmuel that says a very powerful pasuk. When Shmuel was appointed to select a son of Ishai for the kingdom of Israel, after Shaul was no longer approved as a king, every one of the sons of Ishai that Shmuel saw, Shmuel liked, Shmuel approved, God says, next. 7 times. Until finally, David was brought to the situation, and we know the rest of the story. But there God says to Shmuel, Ki ha'adam ro'eh la'inayim, ve'Hashem ro'eh la'levav. Translation. The difference is, the pasuk says, that a human we see with limited vision. I see what's in front of me. I see you're smiling. I believe that everything is fine. And it's not so. Smiling is an external reaction. But happiness is from the heart. Samach libi, the pasuk says. Now, Borei Olam says to Shmuel, you're judging the book by its cover. You look at the fellow, drives a nice car, knows how to pray, dress elegantly, and you believe that he's a tzaddik. He's a nice person. But from there to be a tzaddik, it's a different ballgame. And that's why the sons of Ishai were not accepted as kings. They were good people. They were Talmidei Chachamim. They had Irat Shamayim, but they had a deficiency. One of them had anger, very easy to explode. Another one was arrogant. Each one had a midah that if a human being has it, needs improvement. But if a king has that kind of behavior, it's dangerous. You follow me? If a regular person makes a mistake,
It can be improved
right? If a rabbi make a mistake, magnifying, zoom, shahita.
now.
Okay? That's what happened. Why the sons of Ishai were not selected. They had all the criteria, but a small hiccup. One of them was anger. Another one was very haughty. Another one, condescending. All related to interaction with people. You know why? And I think that is important to add one more minute to this concept, because when you are a king of Israel, you have a lot of additional responsibilities and obligations that other humans may not have. You are on the spotlight. And therefore, if the behavior of the king as a person, not as a Jew now, as a human being, is problematic, that can have a domino effect on the nation. In which way? I'm going to say something that may sound strange to many. Executing people. Executing. Why? There is a halacha, 3 halachot. Melech shemahal al kevodo en kevodo mahul. Translation: a person that talks to the king in a way that is not proper or respectful, or doesn't give the honor to the king accordingly. The king is not allowed to forgive that person. En kevodo mahul. Why not? Because the honor of the king is the honor of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If Abba shemahal al kevodo, let's move the case. A son that screams at their parents is an avon. Avon from the Torah. Prohibition. Umake aviv ve'imo mot yomat. Umkalel aviv ve'imo mot yomat. The Torah, no anesthesia. You raise your hands to your parents, you don't deserve to live. You curse your parents, you don't deserve to live. Kalel, although means kelala, curse. But you know what's the root word of kalel? Is kal. You mistreat your parents verbally. Kalut. All these are Torah prohibitions. Like eating taref. Like eating bread in Pesach, no different. One exception though. That a parent is allowed to forgive their children. We learn this in the halachot of Yom Kippur. On Erev Kippur, the halacha writes that every person, children from the parents, husbands from the wives, wives from the husbands, all levels of relationship, forgive and forget. Usually, the parents, or the children rather, should call the parents Erev Kippur, or see them if possible, and ask for forgiveness. But what happens? Your son is in Israel, and when he called you, you were in the synagogue doing kaparot. And by the time you came home, he already started Kippur. So in Shamayim, what happened, says the halacha? there is a light blinking. Moshe, the son of Abraham, did not ask forgiveness from his father in Erev Kippur. And that Avon, says Chacham Batya Yosef, it's blinking in Shamayim. So what is the remedy to that? The Halacha writes that the parents remotely forgive their children. And this way, the children will not deal with the consequence of not asking the parents for forgiveness. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. It's a serious matter. So we discussed the Jewish king. We discussed parents. Now rabbis. In human relationships, if someone wants to ask forgiveness from another person, halachically, you must attempt to make peace 3 times. By the 3rd time, if the person refuses to forgive, halachically, you are covered. Spiritually, you are covered. If, God forbid, there was a dispute between 2 people, and one of them left the world prior to making shalom, you need to go to the cemetery with a minyan and ask for mehillah. That's why the tradition is that when somebody passes away, they do a mini hatarat nedarim and kelalot. Mutalach, mutalach, mutalach. יש כאן מחילה, סליחה, בכפרה. We ask forgiveness from the dead person, and we forgive that person as well. So this incomplete, unfinished business should not be lingering in either one's account, of the accounting of the living or the accounting of the one that is no longer among the living. When it comes to Talmidei Chachamim, afilu 1000 pe'amim. The rabbi can tell the person, come back 1,000 times. Because when he mistreated the rabbi, it wasn't the rabbi as a human. It's about the Torah. It's about the rabbi being a connector with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. That's what the Halacha writes. And in part, these were the fears of Moshe Rabbeinu. My brother is from the tribe of Levi. He is the biggest Levi in the generation. My brother is older than me. So how can I take a position that I believe that he deserves it and not me? God says to Moshe, Mathaf, Bera'acha besamach belibo. Who is able to see the heart? Not the human. Not the human. HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If somebody wins the Sefer Torah raffle, right? And you say to him, Mabruk, 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 congratulations. But in your heart, you may say, I hope nobody does that, but I don't understand. This fellow bought 1 ticket and he won. I bought 10 tickets and I did not win. That's the difference. The external and the internal. And we know that that's the reason why the Torah mixes the names. Sometimes Aharon and Moshe, sometimes Moshe and Aharon, to teach us that both of them were equal. Tzaddikim, they were happy for each other. They were happy for each other at every level of life. Even though we have seen through life, for example, Moshe and the rocks, Aharon and the Egel, etc. But those are minor hiccups that we created, those headaches for Moshe Rabbeinu and Aharon HaKohen. They were the victims of our behavior, of our attitude, of our desperation, etc. One concept that the Sefirah of today teaches is the concept of Hoda'ah. Hoda'ah comes from the word Hod. The Sephirah of Aharon is about Hod. Hod has different meanings. One of them is beautification. Another one is recognition. Another one is gratitude. Moshe and Aharon, from a Kabbalistic perspective, represent the legs of the person. The support system of the human body, each part is specific purpose, but the legs are really what determine the movement of the human body. So like Abraham is the right hand, Moshe is the right leg, Ishaq is the left hand, Aharon is the left leg. But remember the very famous Mishnah in Pirkei Avot, about Hillel HaZaken. Hillel Omer Heve mitalmidav shel Aharon. We learned this in the past. Aharon HaKohen was the master negotiator in making peace among people. It's not easy to make peace. As a rabbi, I tell you, it's easier to eat a piece of cheesecake than to make peace with people. Okay?
And the head was
right. So it says here a very interesting concept, and it says that a person needs to be not only counting their blessings, but giving gratitude to HaKadosh Baruch Hu for every day that we have a good day. Yesterday we explained the midah of Moshe, Nitzachon, victory on my war with the Yetzer Hara. And we learned yesterday that the more effort the person makes to be spiritually victorious, the more the emunah becomes activated, because my actions have the power to connect me with Hashem, or my actions have the power to disconnect me with Hashem. It's like you have a cell phone. How many times you see you have full reception and sometimes you only have a tiny bar, correct? So you want to have a strong Wi-Fi signal, correct? So what is the Wi-Fi signal? How strong I'm committed, I'm connected with Hashem. As we learned in the past, Ma'asecha yekarebucha, Ma'asecha yerahakucha. My deeds, our deeds, can get me closer to God, or my deeds can expand the distance between God and I. So therefore, if today we need to put together, we have Netzach and Hod. I express my gratitude to Hashem for being successful in my war. And guess what? This war that I'm referring to, no one is immune. Some people go to war every hour of the day. Some people go to war 3 times a day. Some people go to war every day that they need to wake up. It's a struggle with the bed. It's a struggle with the pillow. Get up, don't get up. 5 more minutes, you didn't sleep enough. There is a later minyan. All kinds of matters. I personally go through this every day.
And what's the solution?
My solution, I have a few tactics. Number 1, I put more than 1 alarm clock. That's number 1. And my wife, Baruch Hashem, sleeps well. I ask her sometimes, did you hear the alarm clock? No, at what time? The second one, yes, but the first one is the deeper level of sleep. But many times the Yetzer Hara gets us. Or sometimes you have a situation and we just fall in the trap. It's okay, again, we're not saying that we are perfect, but we need to understand that what is expected from us as a Yehudi. So, and that's why, for example, a person comes from a trip, a person gets out of the hospital, a person experiences mamash a miracle. What do? Birkat HaGomel. And how does the Gomel begins? Ode Hashem bechol livam. Ode means expressing gratitude. Hoda'ah, which is the midah of Aharon, is all about expressing gratitude to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And let's clarify. Although the Gemara in Berachot, when talks about the Birkat of the Gomel, refers to the physical salvation of the human body, and that's why you require to recite the beracha, like we have it here often in our synagogue. But not only you need to be thankful for this physical salvation, but you need to be thankful for the spiritual salvation. Once I learned this a while back, I add certain things in my personal prayer. And one of them is, thank you for allowing me to wake up and to pray a nice tefillah with the minyan. There are many people who pray with the minyan. Okay? But sometimes people come in late, so the tefillah becomes like a puzzle. I say one page here, half a page here, half a page there, and khalas. Although halachically you have on what to rely, but it's not the same that a person wakes up early, comes on time, and is able to begin the prayer with the tefillah, with the hazan, and finish it with the hazan. And based on today's situation, it should be also part of our gratitude prayers. And it says that our great Hachamim did not establish a beracha for spiritual achievements, because it's a custom-made situation. Maybe some people in the audience, without an alarm clock, they have a built-in alarm clock in their body, right? And at 5, 4 o'clock in the morning, or 6 o'clock in the morning, automatically. But some of us are not in that level, and we need 2 alarm clocks. On Shabbat, I have 6 alarm clocks. Shabbat friendly. I tell you why. I don't want to frighten anyone. The weekday alarm clock will go on for a few minutes. The Shabbat special app alarm clock goes on only for 20 seconds. So yeah, mine goes 20 seconds. Yeah, you can do more. You can do 10 seconds to 50 seconds. And then I have a setup that I do that ring again 5 minutes later. So my alarm is 5 minutes earlier, 5 minutes on the dot, 5 minutes later. Because I know myself. I know myself.
I have a solution for you.
Yeah, stay up all night probably. Right.
Go to sleep earlier.
I tried and somehow still doesn't give me, because Shabbat night I go to sleep earlier than the weeknights. And still. I have my yesterday, but half. You know, don't worry. You know, we all have it. You know, for some people it's to you know, different matters. I don't want to talk anymore.
Because you're young.
Baruch Hashem, thank you for recognizing that. It says one more, and it says that if you make this prayer of gratitude with true happiness, the longevity of the success gets expanded. אם אתה מתפלל הודאה בשמחה, אז הכוח של הניצחון מעריך יותר. It has a long-term effect. Why? Short answer. You're activating spiritual success. And when I mean spiritual success, I'm not referring that suddenly we became a malach or we became a tzaddik. I'm talking about step by step, one step at a time. Okay, so in this area, today I earned a sticker because I did not listen to the Yeser. I did what I supposed to do according to the Torah. So that brings emunah, because now I'm stronger connected with Hashem. And that emunah brings gratitude to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Thank you, Hashem, for saving me of making such an avon. Not only that, in our daily prayers. Baruch Elokeinu shebera'anu lichvado v'ibdilanu min hato'im v'natan lanu torat emet. The second paragraph of Uva LeZion, what does it mean? Baruch Elokeinu, blessed be our God, shebera'anu lichvado, that He created us for His glory. והבדילנו מן הטועים, and divided us, separated us from those that walk in the crooked path. ונתן לנו תורת אמת, and gave us the Torah that is true and is eternal. וחיי העולם נטע בתוכנו. An eternal life He planted, not Natan. Natan is to give. Nata is to plant. I give you something. It's no connection. Here, take it. I need it. Planting, it goes deep. That's why the luchot, the tablets, were hakuk. They were engraved. It's different than writing. Writing, I take a pen, I take a piece of paper, I write. Two things became one. But hakika, engraving, the writing is built into the item, into the walls of the heart. And therefore it says, that occasionally a person may have a spiritual hiccup. We all have it. Don't feel bad. We all have days which are better, days that are more challenging, and days that we hope that they don't come back. Correct? This is part of life. Okay? Let's talk about a day that may have not been the best that you would have wanted it to be. Remember the pasuk from Iyov. There is a pasuk that says, Ketz sam lahoshech. Darkness has an expiration date. So maybe today the day wasn't the way you would have wanted it to be, but remember, there is a tomorrow. That's it. And there was the nighttime, and it was the daytime, a new day. It's okay, yesterday wasn't that good. Today, I'm going to make it better. And today, hopefully, I'm going to make it better than today. And today, I'm going to make it better the day after than the day before. And again, our goal is to know what is our destination point. My destination point as a Yehudi, which is everybody's same goal, is connection with Hashem. The more I invest, the better it becomes. Do we have a couple of days that we have hiccups? Not a problem. David HaMelech already said, Sheva ipol tzaddik v'kam. A righteous, a tzaddik, can fall 7 times and he gets up. So then your question may be, so why do you call him a righteous person if he falls? Short answer, because he's able to get up. To stay down, as we learned yesterday about Rabbi Akiva, for example, right, and David HaMelech, then the life would have come to an end. They would have gone through history like another person in the billions of citizens of the world. But when they saw adversity and they saw the challenge, they did not throw in the towel. They said, you know what? Tomorrow will be a better day. Darkness comes with an expiration date. Additionally, it says, now talks about announcing things in a public level. People hear me, my usual opening statement on the class. Besides, I say the date of the class, the Hebrew day, the Omer day. What do I say? Today, special breakfast and class, graciously sponsored by Yada Kasav and family Le'ilui Nishmat, his beloved father, Abraham Alberto Nisim Ben Frida, alav shalom. Correct? Now, why do we say this? So today's Sefirah talks about this. The Sefirah of today talks about making public announcements. Because my public announcement that I make, not only to give kavod to the generous sponsor and his family, but is to express our gratitude, which is the midah of today. And therefore it says, when it comes to matters of the community, you need to verbally express publicly. For example, those who support the synagogues, the places of Torah study, or those who sponsor dedications of sefarim, of books of Torah, or matters that benefit the kahal, that you express their gratitude by writing their names. What do we do here? We write the name. Depends on the situation. Sometimes the dedication is a different level, so we announce it, etc. And therefore it says, and what is the benefit? שימשיכו וירבו במעשיהם הטובים. It says this gives encouragement to people to do more. ואחרים ילמדו מהם. And now suddenly, somebody who just heard what I'm saying, I'm sure it's going to happen tomorrow, for tomorrow, that you're going to have 2 people dedicating instead of 1. Why? Where that came from? It says very simple. Because when you publicize gratitude, mekadesh Shem Shamayim, you are sanctifying Hashem's name. Imagine yourself if him spends the money to sponsor a delicious breakfast like today we have. Okay? Nice, elegant, beautiful. Okay? And I don't say nothing. I just go to him quietly. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Chazak ubaruch. Did I give him any encouragement? No. Did anybody hear it? No. Maybe you also want to do. And I missed the opportunity. So therefore it says, ונמצא משלים את מידת הנסח על ידי מידת ההוד. Now you combine Moshe and Aharon. Moshe, because this is not a simple se'udah. This is not a simple se'udah. What do I mean not a simple? I'm not referring to the delicious sambusak and chakshuka and everything we had before. But I'm talking about one more benefit, that it was eaten during the moments that we are learning Torah. So we have Moshe Rabbeinu representing the Torah, and Aharon HaKohen representing, so to speak, the gratitude to the generous sponsor for the Torah class and the breakfast. You follow me? And this is not a marketing tool. I'm not fundraising. But it says that there is one more situation that gratitude must be expressed. Not only when somebody helps you and does something for you, but when someone gives you a good advice. You went to your friend and you asked him for an advice, and he gave you the advice, and you don't know if this advice worked out or not. So it says that it's the responsibility of the individual who received that advice to come back and let that person know, thank you so much, your advice helped the situation. Okay, but if the Sefer of today is bringing us this reminder, I'm telling you as a rabbi that I do this occasionally. Maybe I should do it more. People call for questions. Some questions are easy, Some questions are very complicated. And Baruch Hashem, many people call back to say, thank you, Rabbi, whatever it worked out. But sometimes, when I speak to rabbis and ask questions, already for a while, I took upon myself that usually when a rabbi gets a phone call from another rabbi, most likely is a complicated, challenging halachic matter. So lately, I took upon myself to call back the rabbis that I called for heavy-duty questions and report back to them. And one of them told me, Rabbi, you make my day. I said, why do you say that? It says, because people remember me when they have problems, but they don't remember me when a solution has been found. So I put myself in his position. I said, I feel like that sometimes as well. Okay? So, it says here that even though that you're not doing any action, but because the advice was done verbally, so the thankfulness is to be done verbally as well. You don't have to do more than that. You want to do more? Chazak u'baruch. I have to do something for someone that helped me. I try to offer, pay, I try to do something, they refuse. But I'm not happy with myself. So I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to do something that they cannot refuse. I'll send them flowers for Shabbat. Nice. Thank you for your advice. Thank you for your services. Shabbat Shalom. Is he going to say, no, send it back to the rabbi's house? Too late. But I'm not going to say nothing. I'm going to find out the address. Very nether for tomorrow. I'll take care of it. Now, we can go on in doing certain things, but I think that the message of today it's very practical, very beautiful, down to earth for our daily life. And let me see just if there is anything else to add. No. I think that for today, we covered the beautiful class. It had shown that the words of Torah elevate the beautiful neshama of Abraham Alberto Nisim Ben Frida, Yom Tov Levi, Ishaya Ben Lora, and Refuah Shelema to Eliyahu Mehila. Refuah Shelema to Ishaq Ben Flora among the Holim of all of Am Israel. Eliezer Ben Malka as well. Refuah Shelema, Baruch